Greetings and welcome to episode 8 of the Looking Back at Past Planes series, where I go back and reassess planes that I've bought or reviewed or been given. First up we have the FX61, which is this very sexy shaped medium range FPV wing. It's the big brother to the awesome little Z84 wing and the little brother to the monstrous FX79 2 metre long range FPV wing. They're all brilliant planes. They're all basically the same plan form, same design, beautiful looking shape. This is made by Zeta Science and came from Banggood for a review, that one. I have some friends who have these wings and they fly beautifully. They're very smooth, very controllable, great looking flying wings. A stack of space for FPV gear and batteries and things in the nose there, and you can load it up to be quite heavy, or I kept it quite light just with a single battery in the nose, single was it 3S3000 and a little bit of extra nose weight there to balance it properly. And it's just a gorgeous plane to fly. It glides beautifully, it slope soars nicely. There's only one downside that I can find really, and that's because the prop is very close to the trailing edge here, which means that it's very noisy. That's one thing that sort of annoys me a little bit. And what I'd like to try is actually moving the motor back, or even trimming a little bit of this trailing edge to reduce the noise a little bit. If it was quieter, it would be absolutely perfect, I think. As it is, it's still a very good wing, highly recommended. Now for long and medium range FPV craft, you really are after efficiency. You want a long flight time for not needing excessive amount of weight in batteries. And I think actually the 2 metre wing Cloud Surfer and the 2 metre Raptor are actually a little bit more efficient than the FX61. They use less power to do the same thing really. Actually there was something else that was really bad too. The control horns that came with it, just a sort of a prong that glues into a slot, and it is just totally inadequate for a plane this size with control surfaces this size. And my friend Andrew found out on his maiden that it's not good enough just to CA glue the horns into the foam. I've actually added some reinforcing patch around here, and tape and glue and extra strength to make sure those control horns stay in. It's a good design because you can undo the little bolt here. They have this great little clamp design that clamps onto the spar here, and you can actually pull the wings off for transport. Now next up we have the Dynam Trojan, another warbird, and I've said previously that I'm not really into warbirds, but this one I'm keeping. I really like the Trojan. I love the way it looks, and it has tricycle gear too, which means that landing on rough surfaces and long grass is less of a problem than with the say the Corsair and the Spitfire. That was quite a revelation for me, being able to land this easily. It works on 3S as well as 4S, much better on 4S. I think the prop is a little bit undersized. It could do with a bigger prop and more power, I think. On 4S it's fine, but you can see there's a lot of frontal area there, and the prop is only just a little bit extending beyond it. I'd really like to ramp this up and put a big prop on it, a big motor and big ESC, and really make it into a speed machine. It's a brilliant flyer, it's fast, aerobatic, precise, just really nice example of a warbird, I guess. I love the colour schemes, the navy stickers. I think they look fantastic. I did a little bit of painting in the cockpit here because I think it just demanded a little bit more detail rather than just the white foam in the cockpit. Great looking plane, I really like it. The retracts, you do have to be careful with the retracts. The typical Dynam retracts can be a bit dodgy. These ones are quite alright actually, but yeah, coming into land you can't just slam it down onto the nose. You've really got to land it properly, but it's better at it than the Corsair and the Spitfire I found. Dynam T28 Trojan, this is a great one. Alright, next up we have the Volantex ASW28, which is sort of a scale glider, 2.6 or 2.55 metre, 2.54 metre wingspan thermal glider. It looks absolutely stunning. Just a beautiful, beautiful looking plane with really slim, high aspect ratio wings, sort of very narrow control surfaces. PVC plastic fuselage, which is fantastic. I love that. Makes them tough enough for slope soaring, and high T-tail. Initially I thought this plane was fantastic, but it's actually reasonably hard to fly. You have to keep it flying fast. It's a little bit prone to stalling. You can sort of lose the lift very easily. And it takes a lot of work to keep it flying nicely. I think for the width of the wings, the tail is a little bit inefficient. Doesn't quite have enough authority to fly the plane nicely, keep it tracking nicely. It looks spectacular in the sky. Has some really good points too. It's got a quick release system for the wing, just a clip, and I've made up a single connector for the flap and ailerons, which makes it very, very easy to pull it apart and transport it. That's one brilliant thing that other planes could take note of, but it's all a little bit too delicate. For this sort of wing, I think you really need sort of a high-tech composite material. The trailing edge on this is too thick because it's foam. It has to be thick to keep its structural sort of strength, being foam. It's all a little bit too flexy. So although it looks fantastic, it's kind of the wrong material to make this plane out of, I think. And one odd thing with these planes is that you actually, with the factory configuration of with the landing wheel in the bottom and a little arch inside and the pilot sitting in there, you actually need to add tail weight to balance it properly, because you can't get the battery back far enough. What I did was pull all of that stuff out so I can put the battery sort of back as far as I want, almost back under the wing, and it balances nicely. I still do like flying this, but since I've had the Phoenix Evolution, I think the Phoenix Evolution is way better as a thermal glider and a slope soarer than the ASW 28. So the ASW doesn't get as much use these days, but looks fantastic hanging on the wall. I know other people love them. My friend Alan really likes his. He's got his flying very well, and another chap over in South Australia, Happy Cat, uses it for FPV cruising as well. So it does have its fan club, but I'm losing faith with it a little bit, really. Since I've been flying the Phoenix Evolution 2.6 metre, I've just really enjoyed flying that a lot more than flying this one. It's a lot easier. And also I made up a 3 metre wing, some old Phoenix wings, and a body to suit, and that just blows this out of the water really for thermal abilities. Next up we have the Dynam Tiger Moth. And I have to say, this is one of my favourite planes. It's a beautiful model. It's very authentic with the rigging wires and everything, the little cockpits there. The only thing I had to do was move the landing gear forward a little bit, and all I had to do was shorten this strut here on both sides, and that sort of brings the landing gear forward a bit, makes it a lot easier to land on our rough grass landing area. It runs on 4S, so it's got heaps and heaps of power, heaps of performance. It flies beautifully slowly, almost at walking pace if you want to. You fly it fast, fly it upside down. You can do aerobatics with it. It's just a ripper. It looks brilliant in the sky. I've actually set it up with FPV. I've got put my FPV camera up on the back behind the cockpit here, and on a panning servo. And this is my favourite form of FPV, flying with the plane, the front of the plane, the cockpit in the view, being able to pan around. I really don't care much about other sorts of FPV. This is what I like doing. Really is one of my favourite planes. The build was reasonably tricky with all these rigging wires and lots of struts and things to put together. It's not too bad, but you just have to sort of take your time and get it all right. It's all numbered. You can sort of work it out, but a little bit more complicated than just slotting a few things together. So that's the Dynam Tiger Moth, a big favourite of mine. Well, that'll do it for this episode, and see if you can work out the Easter egg. Thanks for watching. See you next time.